afternoon. I'm Lyle Oxiger, Chair of the Ames College Board. Call the meeting to order. Please join me, there it is, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Second. We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Minutes of the January 25th, 2022 District Board Retreat and minutes of the February 2nd, 2022 District Board Meeting.
I move that we approve the minutes. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Public comment. Do we have any public comment? Nope. Okay. Zach tells me we have no public comment. Okay, next is presentations from guests and representatives to the board. First, Excellence at Ames. Shannon McCaslin, Dean of Students.
Good afternoon, board. Today, what a privilege I have introducing you to yet another of our students who is all in, Ricardo Alvarado. You will soon hear how Ricardo is all in and the story of his coming to Ames, because someone who works here was also all in. And not to belabor this all in thing, but you really have to see how Ricardo is telling his Ames story. He's here on this piece on the right-hand side, right, Ricardo? Recruiting students for the Fort Lupton campus. By the way, I understand Grandma has this on her refrigerator. This is good. And he's also out and about sharing with our community, most recently at the National Western Stock Show Volunteer Recognition Dinner, where he shared his story with hundreds of folks. So as you can see the photos on the screen, he's also all into community. Ricardo is the first in his family to graduate or to go to college, soon to graduate. And most of the friends Ricardo grew up with did not come to college. He's going to tell you a little bit more about that. These people on the screen are Ricardo's supporters. And let me tell you, the reason I know about Ricardo is because of community. I heard about him from folks here at the campus long before I got to meet him. But he is a charming, authentic young man. So I'm going to stop there and I'm not going to steal any more of his thunder. I want him to tell you his story. Ricardo Alvarado.
Thank you, Shannon, for that amazing introduction. I am very happy to be here with you all. It is a privilege for me to be in your presence. Thank you for taking the time and willing to hear a little bit about me, speak about my journey here at Ames. I pay tribute to who I was in my past, for blessing me with certain abilities such as not shying away from public speaking, and being strict on myself to where I could live alone and still be a functioning college student. I used to be a Jehovah's Witness. For 17 years of my life, growing up in it, I fully believed it. But there came a time when I made a decision for myself. I wanted to put my skills and youth into other goals. That decision, though, had a negative impact. It shifted me to look for a new lifestyle. I had told Omar, my teacher from high school, what had happened, and he invited me to the governor's ag forum he has every year. I accepted. At the governor's ag forum back in 2019, I decided to attend this presentation. I didn't know what it was on, but that is where I met the exuberant Miss Amy McFarland, representing the Ames Agriculture Department. After her presentation, I walked up to her and I told her I'm interested in the ag program because my family members in Mexico own avocado plantations. just that I wasn't ready to leave Colorado just yet. She assured me Ames was very affordable, first of all. And second, was their ag program, even though at a community college, it was very competitive in the state. After those gripping words, on top of her sparkling personality, something told me I could trust her, and she was telling me the truth. Remember my background. Me in the mindset I wasn't going to survive another year. The odds were really in my favor. I was going to get a good education, and even if the world was going to end soon, it was going to be very affordable. Thank you, Miss Amy. I believed in you, and in return, you have helped me in countless ways. Most important, helping me get to Ames and register for classes at fall 2019. Then every time after that, when it came to getting new classes, you were always there, motivating me to think about my future, reminding me things were gonna be okay. After 3 years and 3 classes away from graduating in May, wow, Miss Amy did not only live up to her promise that it was affordable and competitive. Being at Ames and throughout my journey, I was able to find happiness, meaningful relationships, people who taught me how to dream when I did not know how to dream, friends, family, relationships who believed in me, want me to succeed. Me gustaría humillarme en frente de ustedes y agradecerles todo lo que me han ayudado a poder lograr. Sin la ayuda, paciencia, consejos y regaños, todo eso me ha servido para poder estar aquí en este momento. Mis hermanos y mis hermanas, los sigo queriendo mucho, los veré pronto. I'd like to thank my teachers, family, and friends for dealing with my issues, keeping me on my mission, and helping me establish a safe space from emotional abuse that comes from being shunned. Overall, being there for me when I did not feel like I had me. With your help, I am a lot better. My name is Ricardo Alvarado Torres. I'm majoring in soil and crop science, ready to keep going on my journey as I got accepted into CSU and doing the things to start this fall semester.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for sharing your story. This is why we come here. This is what we get excited about, is hearing the stories of people like you who have come to Ames, got on the path that they choose, and are very, very successful. We wish you all the success in the world. Will always be here. You're part of the Ames family, and you will continue to be. So I wish you all the luck in the world. Thanks for sharing your story. Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you so much. Oh. That's great. That, folks, is what it's all about. Okay, thank you, Ricardo. Next on the agenda, representatives to the board. I believe all of our representatives today are coming to us via Zoom. Is that correct? Okay, Student Government Association, Andrew Canetta. Andrew, are you there?
Hello, am I on screen? Can you hear my voice?
Yes, we can. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm always worried about Zoom. Sometimes it gives me trouble, sometimes it doesn't. So I'm glad it's working today. Seems to be a friend. So good afternoon, Board of Trustee members, Chair Oxiker, and Dr. B, of course. I want to thank you for your time. It's wonderful to be here today, even if it is through a screen. And just like Ricardo was mentioning with his story, as the Board of Trustees and other administrative figures, I know how much you enjoy hearing student stories and actions of students at Ames. That's what we're all about, and I know that that's what you guys are all about, and it's my favorite part, and that's why I love doing these reports. is I get to share those stories. I get to share the things. On student government, we get to see the lives and the actions and the stories and the struggles and the success of all kinds of diverse students at Ames. I have to say my heart is just overwhelming with that story that Ricardo told us. And it's making me think about, again, the Student Commons building. Yesterday we had the open house, and I know that many of you were in attendance, and there was something special about it. I could see something in the eyes of the students and of employees that were there. There was a spark, there was almost a flame and a passion. And I might not be able to name it or put my finger on it, but it was an amazing thing to witness. And I'm sure you all share that same enthusiasm about the success of that event. The attendees, they numbered at least 200 yesterday. Everyone got to enjoy tasty pizza, frozen yogurt. There was a wall of cupcakes. And I have to say, and when I saw that wall of cupcakes, well, yeah, I'm not on a diet anymore. We can we had live music, which was wonderful. Oh my goodness, I love jazz. So hearing that made my heart happy. And in addition to the excellent food and the wonderful music, Artie the Aardvark made an appearance as well, meeting and greeting everyone in attendance. We, of course, got to hear many wonderful words from people like Aaron Prestwich, Chair Oxker, Michael Millsaps, Dr. B, and Felicia Busteau, the artist behind the mural inside the Student Commons. And I've started to notice there's something special about this space. Every Tuesday and Thursday after my morning physics class, I see several of my classmates beeline straight towards the Student Commons building. They order their usual drinks from the coffee bar, they grab a meal at the bistro, and they start up their daily pool tournament. Every Tuesday and Thursday, they have a pool tournament. And it is the most exciting thing to watch. These students, they didn't know each other at the beginning of the semester. They're friends now, close friends. It's remarkable. I've never seen anything like it. The level of interaction and involvement that students are experiencing with this space is so remarkable, and it makes the SGA team so happy to see this happen. I know you might grow weary of me talking about the Student Commons so much because I just am in love with the building and the space. So thank you all for all of the hard work and dedication to serving the students in that way. On behalf of the students, we are all very, very thankful. A couple of upcoming events that I would also like to highlight. You all know that the student leaders are always focused and concerned with the health and well-being of students. And as such, countless wonderful training sessions have been coordinated throughout the year. Each session promoting local resources as well as resources available here at Ames. Resources that, of course, benefit students' physical and mental health. During the last board meeting, I mentioned an upcoming QPR training, and that took place on February 22nd. This training, it was an immense success with several attendees. And I myself attended a QPR training in the fall semester, and I can say earnestly that it is extremely enlightening, encouraging, and empowering. The reason I mentioned the QPR training is because of the upcoming Narcan training taking place next Monday, March 7th from 5 to 6:30 in room 114 of the Greeley Campus Student Commons. At this event, Squad 1, a collaborative effort between North Range Behavioral Health, North Colorado Health Alliance, and the Greeley Fire Department will be presenting training material in response to the opioid crisis. These trainings serve the students, and it's wonderful to see students involved in these ways, willing to learn, willing to grow, willing to explore. And I would highly encourage any of you to attend. You're all very, very welcome. It will be a great training. Another major upcoming event I would like to highlight is the Josh Blue comedy performance at the Greeley Campus Welcome Center on March 24th. Oh my goodness, I am so excited for this. When I found out that Josh Blue was coming, I kind of screamed maybe a little because I'm a big fan. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Josh Blue, he's a world famous comedian, who performed on the hit show America's Got Talent. I'm sure we've heard of it. He's also a finalist on America's Got Talent. So that should give you an idea of how talented he really is. This performance is, of course, free and open to the community. So invite your family members, invite your friends for this amazing opportunity. The show, again, March 24th, will begin at 7 p.m. and doors open first thing at 5:30. Those are most of the major events and recent successes of events that I wanted to share with you all today. So before I conclude, I'd like to thank you again so much for your time. I do wish I could be there in person, but homework caught up with me. So Zoom is the preferred method today. I hope to see you at some of these upcoming events. Are there any questions or comments?
Any questions of Andrew? Dr. B does.
Of course.
Go ahead, Elaine.
Hi, Andrew. I'm looking at your great monthly report to the board, and this is really interesting to me, the SGA radio show. Is there anything you can share about that, like when it might be, or what, how we hear about it, or anything you might have?
Yeah, of course. So Zachariah McCormick, the Executive Vice President for Student Government, he received his certificate for being able to broadcast on the radio in the fall semester. And he worked towards that certificate specifically to make this student government radio show a reality. So I'm very proud of him for that. And he's amazing. He's great at performing and talking on the line. And the show airs, I believe, on Tuesdays in the afternoon. And essentially what it is it's a way for Zach to publicize and kind of make announcements about student government and other student-led events, and also conduct interviews. That way students can hear a lot about resources. I believe he is interviewing Patty Schultz at some point in the future to talk about Artist Pantry. So it's a pretty cool opportunity. He's very fond of the radio show, and I actually might be stepping on to do a segment with him soon. So be on the lookout for that. But I believe it is on Tuesdays, but take that with a grain of salt because it's Zach's project, not mine. He knows the ins and outs of it.
Thank you, Andrew.
Of course, yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, well, Andrew, I've got a comment. I appreciate your comments about the opening of the Student Center, the Student Commons yesterday. And I agree, it is a wonderful event. It just has a feeling about it. It's palpable. I had several community members talk to me about it, and they mentioned how it felt welcoming. It felt very, very comfortable. And a couple of them think that maybe they're going to come take some classes so that maybe they can enjoy it. So it was a great event. We haven't come to consensus yet whether we want to talk about making that cupcake wall a permanent fixture yet. But, that was awesome. I think she made like 500 cupcakes for that. And congratulations to the young lady that made those. So that was awesome. Great event. So thank you for your comments and thank you for being here today.
Of course. Thank you all for your time today.
Okay, next is the Ames Faculty Association. Mr. Mark Moody. Are you with us, Mark? There you are. I see you.
All right. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Chair Oshinger, Dr. Borstein, and members of the board. We have a couple of faculty accomplishments and some ripples I recognize. I did want to first, if you see in your packet, recognize Adjunct Instructor of Music, Professor Karp. He was named as a professional principal percussionist with the Greeley Philharmonic Orchestra, and also was named a finalist for the co-principal percussion position. And myself, I was actually elected to the member at large for the Rocky Mountain URSA, Urban Regional Information Systems Board Directors. Utilizes GIS. We train professionals in GIS as well and show what GIS is. I did make a suggestion during our meeting, which occurred on Monday, about reaching out to other industries like the agriculture and the oil industry, which are very important here for Ames. So I did make that suggestion to them at our meeting. It was very productive. And there's a couple Ripples nominations. I won't read them line by line, but Professor Carlson, was told how she's very open-minded, making suggestions for preschool environments, which are vital, for teaching children. And then Professor Holland, as you see, actually was showing how she's able to help students and also making it an enjoyable, interactive, fun class. And then finally, you see Professor Bailey of Computer Science was saying how she's very committed to our students, which is our Ames mission, and always putting students first, and about how she was an amazing professor for that student. So that's all the accomplishments we had and ripples we have for this month, and I'll be happy to entertain any questions you may have.
Any questions, Mark? Any comments?
I had to look up GIS. I didn't know the acronym, but it's a mapping system, right?
Yes,
you go.
Geographic Information Systems. It's a software that makes maps. I teach both of the classes here at Ames, and it's a really growing field. And like I said, every industry uses it, not just agriculture and oil, but also I would say education can use it. You can also have it utilized in CAD and utilize construction management, EPA. There's just so many endless possibilities with it. So this group here, we're trying to not just have it say for some specific one, but let's make it broader. And that was agreed by the president of the association.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for your comments as always, Mark. Appreciate it. Thanks for all you do, and congratulations on your appointment.
All right. Thank you very much.
You bet. Look forward to hearing from you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next is Ames Staff Association. Jen Seedorf. Welcome, Jen.
Good afternoon, Chair Oxiger, trustee members, and Dr. B. It's nice to be with you virtually. I so appreciate the opportunity to still join you when work duty calls. It's a nice opportunity. So thank you so much. You know, I first have to tell you that I am really enjoying this nice weather finally. I know we're going to have a little bit of a change this weekend, but I'm very much enjoying the weather. And I took the opportunity yesterday to get outside on our campus, even though things are not greening up yet. It's still so nice to be out and to start seeing people congregating outside. And as Andrew said, around at the student commons. And actually, I got outside to take something to financial aid in the Welcome Center, which is quite a trek from my office in Cornerstone. But it was adding to my step goal and my overall New Year's goals. So thanks for that. Which, by the way, Chair Oxiger, if you institute that cupcake wall, I will be taking a step back in my goals. So, the staff, you know, they're just continuing to rock and roll through the semester, and everyone is doing so well, and we're all busy, much like everyone around the college. Things are just going along swimmingly. So it's nice to see everyone here again, and you know, just keep things going. So we do have a little treat for staff coming up on Friday, March 4th, because it is Employee Appreciation Day. And unfortunately, this board meeting was a couple days too early, so I don't have a treat to share with you today. But we definitely appreciate your support and all that you do for us. So I apologize for not having a treat for you, but staff will be receiving something on Friday from the Staff Association. Today, I would also like to highlight just a couple of short Ripples nominations. The first one is for Jessica Pimentel. She's the Latinx Engagement and Support Coordinator. She was nominated by David Bissell, who is the Military Affiliated Program Coordinator here at Ames. David says, "My colleague continues to inspire me here at Ames. She is always building new opportunities for a critical student body that appreciates her support. She exceeds her job title and PDQ because of her passion to help our students at Ames and does it with a smile." And David says, "I need to learn to smile like that." And David, I think your smile is just fine. But he also says, "I am excited to co-construct more and more engagement and alternative education opportunities alongside her. Go, Jess, go." And the second one that I wanted to highlight is Rob Sanchez and Mike Harrison from our purchasing department. The nominator was Pathway Advising Team. I would like to thank Rob and Mike for getting us all of our packages in mail. They are both always so helpful. The Pathway Advising Department would just like to give them a ripple to recognize them for all they do. Thank you. And I wanted to highlight both of these ripples with you today because I really loved how it showcases the importance of and the appreciation for every position here at Ames, no matter if we're directly working with students or working behind the scenes operationally. Everyone here has an integral part in making sure that Ames and our students are successful. And the Ripples recognitions, I love to present them because they always provide opportunity for our employees to recognize each other and our contributions each month, which is so important and I think such a wonderful piece of our college culture. So thank you so much, and I would be happy to take any questions.
Thanks, Jen. Any questions, Jen? Any comments? Okay, well, Mark gave a thumbs up, so I guess you're okay. Well, Jen, thank you so much. Thank you for your report. Enjoyed it as always, and we always look forward to them.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next is information items. First off is the calendar. And I think Jerry got a note out to you, and I'll bring your personal calendars with you. So if you want to take this, Jerry, and let us know if you what you want us to put on our calendars.
Of course, thank you, Chair Oxiger. As you probably noticed in your packet, it was a pretty lengthy calendar between now and May going through commencement. So there are a number of great events that we'd love to have your presence at. So I was hoping we might be able to go through some of those today just to firm up who might be able to attend those and who wouldn't be able to. So that way we can all be here together and go through that. The first one that I wanted to go through was the one coming up on March the 22nd, which is the groundbreaking ceremony for the Windsor campus. And again, that's going to be on March 22nd from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And if anybody would have that availability to attend, I know I've heard from Chair Oxiger and he'll be able to attend. Yep. Okay. So I have my spreadsheet here, so I'll make some notes. All right, thank you for that one. Looks like everybody will be able to attend that. Next is the donor recognition for the Welcome Center Auditorium, recognizing the Miller family for their contribution. That's going to be on March the 24th from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And I just want to confirm who might be able to attend that as well. Okay. Yep. And Gene, I had already gotten back an RSVP from you as well. So, yeah. You know that we've got going for it. All right. And the next one on the list is the donor recognition for the Skybox. So that's going to be on March the 31st from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Yes. Okay. Okay. All right, it looks like I've got thumbs up from Trustee Hout and Wendell and Chair Oxiger. Perfect. All right, and then the rest of these are going to be related to Celebration Week, which has a ton of great events. So the first one is the trio graduation, which is going to be April the 30th, 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at the Welcome Center.
I think I'll be there.
Okay. That's all right. All right, so we'll move on to the next one then. We have the graduate reception, which is going to be May 6th, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. in the Welcome Center. Okay. Okay, perfect. All right, the next one is the Veterans Coining on May the 6th at 5 p.m. May the 9th, sorry. Yes, thank you. May the 9th. Okay. All right, so I've got Chair Oxiger and Trustee Shock. Perfect. Next is the President's Reception on May the 10th. So that one has been changed. The updated date for that one is going to be May the 10th. So that one differs from what's in your packet at 4 p.m. Yes.
I think so.
Okay. Perfect. All right. For that one, I have Trustee Shock, Lindell, and O'Hara, and then Chair Oxiger.
Yeah, probably is a tentative. I gotta check on that.
Yep. Okay. Perfect. All right, next is the honor ceremony on May the 12th at 10 a.m. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I've got tentative for Trustee Shock and then Chair Oxiger and Trustee Lindell. For the nurse pinning, same day, the 12th at 4 p.m. Got Trustee Shock.
You said at 4?
Yes, 4 p.m.
Okay.
Okay. Got Chair Oxiger and Trustees O'Hara and Shock. Yeah. Yes. Yep, I'll get this updated. Yes, yep, that has been updated since the packet was published, so I'll get a new one sent out to everybody.
When you update this, can you indicate who of us might be attending?
Yep, I can do that as well.
Okay.
All right, and then we have commencement on the 13th. So we hope that all of you will be able to be there for that, of course.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, yep, that's right.
Congratulations.
Yes. All right. And the last ones are the Fire Academy and Police Academy graduations, which are that Saturday, May the 14th. The time is currently TBA, but just as an FYI to folks, once we get those settled, I'll send those back out and we'll get some RSVPs for those too. Thank you for indulging me. This was helpful. Thank you.
So you say again, you don't know the time of the Fire Academy yet?
Correct. The Police and Fire Academy, it hasn't been scheduled yet. The date is set and it'll be at the Windsor campus, but the time hasn't been set yet. But I'll send out to everybody. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
On commencements, do you want us there an hour earlier, or what's the schedule on that?
Yeah, we'll send more details.
Okay.
We just wanted to make sure everybody was set on the dates and times and that we had.
We'll get marching orders.
Yep.
Yes, Dr. B.
Just as a quick response, if you're looking to how much time to block up on your calendar, yes, an hour before.
Probably enough.
If not an hour and a half. I'm looking at Shannon and she's shaking her head vigorously. So
Yes, I like that.
yeah, we'll be probably in the green room or another room with refreshments and so forth. And keep in mind, there are 2 ceremonies that day. They're probably scheduled an hour for each ceremony.
Yeah, max an hour and 15 probably.
An hour and 15, okay. And we'll get all the details to you as well. Thanks.
Okay, is that it, Jerry?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you are very welcome. Thank you for doing that. And thank you to the rest of the board for making yourself available for all those events. It's definitely celebration week, and it's exciting, and I know the students love to see us there, so thank you. Okay, next is correspondence. We do have some correspondence, and I would like to read a letter that I received. It's in your packet as well. February 15th, 2022. Dear Chair Lyle Oxiger, I would like to share with you how impressed and grateful I am for Dr. Bornstein's leadership. Healthcare is experiencing significant workforce challenges. I personally reached out to Dr. Bornstein in early November to ask her if Ames Community College could partner quickly with Banner Health and develop a specific CNA cohort group. Within a few weeks, including over the holidays, a team was assembled and a class was offered this January 2022. Over the last 5 years, this is the type of agility and creativity that occurs throughout the Ames faculty and their leadership team. Northern Colorado is fortunate to have the strong and visionary leaders with a supportive board that allows creative partnerships with community organizations. I believe this is the type of flexibility and responsiveness we need to face the workforce challenge that confronts us. Sincere appreciation for all the board members, the Ames leadership team, and the faculty. Sincerely, Margot Karsten, Banner Health, Western Division President. I share that for a multitude of reasons. We certainly want to thank Dr. Bornstein for her leadership and thank her team for putting this together. But I believe that this letter exemplifies what Ames is really all about, what it was formed for so many 3 or 4 years ago, to partner with the community, to work with the community and develop a workforce. That was one of their primary goals, and has certainly exceeded that, met that. All those other adjectives that we could come up with. So I, for one, when I read this, was extremely proud to get this type of a letter. And I know this goes on all the time. We don't always get letters like this. So I thought it was important to read this so that all of our audience out there, the people that Ames is here for, hear what kind of job Ames College is doing for our community. So thank you for indulging me. And thank you, Dr. Bornstein. Yes, please.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really like to shift the kudos. I can see Terry back there. Terry, would you mind just standing up for a quick second? Terry Anderson is our Dean of Allied Health. Really, the kudos goes to him and Dr. Russ Rothamer, because when I got the call and the requests, those are the folks that I pulled in and they took the ball and ran. So really, Dean Anderson, thank you to you and your team. Dr. Rothamer for leading a wonderful academic affairs division. And so, yeah, they're really the ones that deserve the kudos.
Jane.
I was just curious, how many CNA students were we able to accommodate?
Yeah, so we had a total that'll be, we have 4 that's going to be finishing up the program with their clinical this weekend. Another 2 that will finish up at a later date. They had a couple of things that came up in the middle of the program, but they'll finish. And then we have some plans where we're working to continue this kind of program for the Banner team in later semesters as well. So to continue to grow and get additional students to meet that need for CNAs.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Gene. Sure, go ahead.
Sorry, I wanted just to make another comment publicly. I know in a previous email update that I sent to the board, I sent you a flyer that was also taken to the US Capitol by Senator Hickenlooper, who was very intrigued by this program and this partnership. And so this did go to the Capitol and did speak to it. And so it was an example of certainly partnerships that are happening across the country that are really assisting with immediate workforce and healthcare needs. So just to let you know, that was taken to the Capitol.
Okay, thank you for that, Dr. B. So Terry, if you don't mind, or Russ, are these students that you got, are they people that Banner had waiting in the wings, hoping to put into a class, or are they people that they or you went out and recruited?
Yeah, so these were current Banner employees, mostly frontline workers, custodial or food service individuals, and kind of Banner put a call out to see who are interested in really starting in the healthcare field, and from there got a pool of students. They had about 27 that were interested, and from there we kind of figured out what would work for this first cohort. That's when we got the 6, and before that, we'll be graduating to a little bit later, but we'll continue that, and that's kind of how they got their first initial group from those individuals.
Okay, well, that's awesome. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate it. Okay, any other comments? Okay, moving on to the board professional development topics. You see a list in your packet there of the professional development topics. Those of you who have presented potential topics, we appreciate it. Keep these in mind for, we will continue working on these, and we will see more of these at our June retreat. I believe that we will be covering those. Right.
So we could maybe schedule. We could schedule some at the
Sure.
retreat, or we could schedule some.
Exactly. Yeah, so thank you for that reminder. So I guess review these and let us know, are these still topics that you want to pursue? If you have other suggestions, so do you want to proceed with this at our June retreat? I'll open up for discussion. Yeah. And we're given, for those of you out there, the board's reading through these, we could also do a work session on this. If someone would like to, if the board would like to do something like that.
I think it would be very helpful to touch on some of these topics, just so that we're all understanding each one of these items the same.
Okay. Anyone else? Any comments?
How does the board speak with one voice, have a message as a board after meeting?
I'm sorry, what was your question, Mark?
On the third bullet, the sub bullet, have a message as a board after meeting. I'm trying. It seems redundant, but I'm trying to figure out. Go ahead.
Oh, I think there's a suggestion, how does the board speak as one voice is the question. And then there's a suggestion that maybe we have a message as a board after our meetings. I don't know where that came from. Someone suggested it, so I wouldn't know who that came from, but I think that was just a suggestion that possibly we develop a message. So that's something we want to think about. I have some thoughts on some of these, but I would rather share them when we're in like a work session or something like that.
Sure.
I think one of mine was, how do I get items on the agenda, or how do I So I'm still learning, and I
Sure.
still would like to know more about that and how it works, and getting better at understanding when certain topics come up, like now is the time that Dee does her stuff with HR. And so, and I like the parliamentary procedures, and this is amazing. Good job.
Yeah. I think that'll help us all. Marilyn.
I'll just add a couple of comments. I remember many of these topics as we were going through the retreat, and I think for consistency and for me being one of the newest members or the newest member, of running to make sure that I'm consistent with what the board wants to achieve as well. And then I think the executive session guardrails came out as kind of a process piece of understanding that. And so there's several items on there that actually I think would help. And I think the handouts that's going through them, I think we're moving towards answering some of these that came up.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think to get together, maybe in a work session again, and dig deeper into some of these. Some of these are pretty broad, and talk about how do we do that? How do we develop that? What process to go through, and et cetera, et cetera. So I think it'd be some great communication, a great exercise for us to work on this. Actually, we're looking at professional development, so we want to develop these topics as well as how do we proceed from there. So are we agreed on? I see a lot of people nodding their heads. So are we agreed that we want to have a work session?
Yes.
Okay. I'm seeing yeses.
Well, I guess I'm thinking a work session entails everyone coming together, everyone to discuss. And I don't know if they need to be part, but I don't want to waste their time on something that's specifically just for the board and a learning curve. But I don't know if that's, you know what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
How about if Jerry and I put together some suggestions? Because it may be, and I think Trustee Howe at a previous, maybe in the fall, had suggested that maybe we have little sort of refresher snippets even during kind of a board meeting or something. Nice. So some of these might lend themselves to that kind of format, where some of these might be retreat longer, deeper topics. So are you comfortable with us kind of taking the stab at?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, there you have it. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Yeah, if we're sitting here trying to come up with, develop these as we're sitting here, I think it's a little bit difficult. So to have some suggestions from someone who's probably done this before and worked on it before might be a big help for us. So thank you for that. Okay. Next on the information items is the June board retreat topics. If you could continue sending topics that you think might be of interest for the board retreat before we finalize it, please do so. You got any comments on that? Okay. So do you have anything, Jerry? Okay. So we'll, at some point in time, an agenda will be developed, working with Pam and everything. So we want to make sure that we have your input on possible topics for the retreat before that is developed. So, and you can send those to Jerry, you can send them to myself, you can send them to Dr. B. It really doesn't matter, just so we get them. So, okay, but we would like to hear from you. Okay, next is the CEO President's Report. Dr. Bornstein.
Oops, I was taking notes. Our first highlights. Presenter is Dr. Russ Rothermer, presenting from the Executive Vice President and Chief Academic Affairs offices.
Thank you, Dr. Bornstein, Chair Oxiger, members of the board. This afternoon, I'd like to start with another example of staff and areas of the college supporting our students, faculty, and programs. So from the report in your board packet, I'm starting with the career and technical education section, and wanted to highlight that over the last 3 years, Ames has been awarded over $1.1 million in Perkins grant funding. This funding benefits our CTE programs directly with equipment, training, professional development, and resources that offer state-of-the-art programs. Our Ames faculty regularly receive feedback from our employers, noting that how our students can hit the ground running and actually help train existing employees when they are new to a job. And why this is all important, during the fall 2021 semester, Ames underwent an audit for the Perkins grant. The audit included a review of the reporting, purchasing, inventory, and disposal of assets and an on-site visit to Ames. The audit confirmed the excellence at Ames with one minor opportunity for improvement. Overall, the state board was very impressed with our programs and processes. This work is done across all of our CTE divisions in cooperation with internal departments, such as facilities and operations, purchasing, IT, and more. And it's spearheaded in our CTE program office by Landon Lloyd. And I wanted to publicly offer congratulations, not only to Landon, but to all of the Ames teams involved, and the great news from this audit and what this does to help support our CTE program. So thank you to everyone that was involved with that. Also in your packet, and I know you've already covered this, but if you're looking more detail on the CNA partnership with Banner, some more details are in that information for you as well. And then also in an ongoing effort to continue making our programs and courses more accessible and flexible for our learners, we've previously reported to the board updates on our flex modality of classes. And as a reminder, it's kind of that online course with weekly synchronous meetings provided in an 8-week format. And why I wanted to update you today is we've had 2 more of our arts and sciences classes that have completed that process, with our ultimate goal of making the core requirements for the arts and sciences available in this flexible modality. So again, really thinking about how we can be more accessible and flexible to all of our learners. Another update I wanted to provide for you as a teaser, if you will, for after tax season. I know we're all very excited about this time of year and the documents we're going through to prepare taxes. But if you remember from previous years, we've reported on the work that Ames does, in particular from our accounting faculty, Gina Jones, who's been doing this program for years in terms of helping our community members file their taxes. A quick update, she leads between 9 and 30 volunteers for this effort. And again, I'll provide more details at the end. But so far, to date, for 2021 returns completed, they've done 435 in Greeley, 72 in Loveland, and 160 here in Fort Lupton. And we've been able to really increase that number in Fort Lupton because of some additional volunteers from AmeriCorps that's been set up from the United Way, Mile High United Way. So wanted to congratulate Gina, those volunteers. And again, we'll certainly provide additional information to you on this great service that's provided to the community. Another update that you all requested from last month was on our workforce development advisory board meeting that was held on Friday, February 11th, where we had 25 business and industry leaders met for an overview of what our workforce development area does, provided them some information, got some survey results back from them. And the primary categories of interest from the group that attended that was for corporate in-demand training topics were in 3 specific areas: leadership and supervision, safety and health, and Human Resources. And what I wanted to share with you today is what's been done since then and kind of what we'll be moving forward with. So starting in April, there'll be a lean series session that will be starting. The team has put on 3 lunch and learns since February 15th. And those 3 lunch and learns were continuous improvement, leadership, and then OSHA. And then the workforce development team is continuing to schedule one-on-ones with businesses to identify what their specific training needs might be. And that concludes my report.
Any questions of Russ? Okay, thank you, Russ.
Thank you, Russ. Chuck Jensen, our Vice President for Administrative Services, would like to give us our monthly budget update as well as our annual external auditor report and some progress report on the Welcome Center naming and recognition initiatives. Chuck.
Thank you, Dr. Bornstein, Mr. Chair, members of the board. The first item on my topic is the annual external auditor report. And I have about 30 minutes to go in really deep into general auditing standards and GAAP. So, get a glass of water, fill your coffee up, because we're gonna get deep into auditing standards here. Just joking. First of all, I'd like to give a shout out to Kaylee Block, our Assistant Vice President and Controller, and the whole financial services team for the excellent work that they've done. Usually when we've done this in the past, they've been in the audience and we have them stand up and we give them a round of applause. So we'll give them a virtual round of applause here for all of their hard work on this audit. This is for the audit for fiscal year 21. We had the auditor present to the Audit Committee last week, and members of the Audit Committee, of course, are Chair Oxinger, Trustee Hout, Dr. Bornstein, Kaylee Block, the Assistant Vice President and Controller, Chris Peterson, our Financial Aid Director, and myself. And our auditors are Clifton, Larson, and Allen. They've been our auditors for several years. And the scope of their work is that they do both a financial statement audit, which includes both the college, and then they receive the independent auditor report from the foundation and include that in our audit. And then they also do the single audit, and I'll talk a little bit about that at the end. The auditors, of course, their responsibility is to audit us under the generally accepted auditing standards, or GAAS. They express an opinion on whether the financial statements are in compliance with GAAP, which is generally accepted accounting principles, in all material respects. They express an opinion only over information identified in our report. And they, again, perform all the audits in accordance with required auditing standards. And they are required to communicate any significant matters related to the audit information by regulators or other information agreed upon at the college. So what did they find? No material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. So what that means is there were no errors or omissions in our financial statements. And in other words, it is a clean audit. As we like to say in our office, this is our annual accreditation review, and it's an annual review. In other required communications, the auditors they disclosed to the Audit Committee, were there any difficulties encountered in performing the audit? None. Were there any uncorrected misstatements? None. Were there any corrected misstatements? None. It's kind of repetitive here. Any disagreements with management? None. And any significant issues discussed with management? None. So again, a very clean audit. And they also had a comment that they're very appreciative of our staff. They were very cooperative and helpful. The auditors also wanted to highlight the fact that this was the first year of our audit under our new financial administrative system. So for us to come out of that new system with no issues in our financial statements is truly remarkable. And the auditors were very complimentary about that fact that that's not usually what they see when they come across an audit client that has just implemented a new financial accounting system. So again, a shout out to our team. The other part of the work that they do is called the single audit. This is where they test compliance with the federal regulations over our federal dollars. And that work they're still completing as we talk today. They're hoping to have that work wrapped up here in the next couple of weeks. A little bit of an oddity with that, and the fact that what they're auditing is a lot of the federal money we received during the pandemic. And oddly enough, some of the final guidance from the federal government actually just came out in January, like 2 months ago, January. And so they're having to incorporate those types of audit guidelines from the federal government as they review our expenditures in those federal programs. So stay tuned for that. I'll report out separately on that when that work is complete. That is, any questions on the external audit? Any comments from the committee members, auditor, or board members that were on the audit committee?
No, I really
No, go ahead, Mark.
I really appreciated her comments about how convenient your support staff, Kaylee and you and everybody else, and that was noteworthy, to have that being said. And she probably has many other stories from other community colleges that deal with a little bit more stress than we do. And I think we're very fortunate to have our resources. Again, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Marilyn.
Thank you. Just congratulations. Anybody that goes through the technology programming changes and comes out the way you did, that says a lot about the team on monitoring and making sure things move the way they did. So it doesn't just happen. Congrats.
Thank you.
I just want to do a shout out and say congratulations. I've been through some audits before, nothing this big. And no matter how big or how small you are, you're a nervous wreck. So to come out clean as a whistle, that's great. So thank you.
Thank you.
No. Well, I'd just like to say it was actually kind of fun to sit through that and hear all of those comments about none. But, and as I told you and the auditors at the time, that not many people look forward to audits, but I actually kind of look forward to going to these meetings because I hear all of the good things that we're doing, and it kind of confirms what you present to us all along, that we're fiscally responsible, we're stable, we're well managed, everything is great. So to have that verified by an outside agency is really fun. It's enjoyable to hear that, and we're very proud of what you and your entire team does. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll absolutely make sure I pass those along to the team. So thank you. The next item on my topic is the monthly budget report. Contained in your packet is the report as of January 31st. Nothing remarkable to talk about. Again, we continue to see strength in our other revenue category, and that's primarily due to the increase in royalty revenues that we're receiving, primarily due to the price of oil and gas. Tuition is on track, and general property taxes and such, all are no variances to report at this point. And within our expenditures, nothing to highlight of any abnormalities in any of our expenditures for that. So with that, I'll stand on any questions on our January 31st budget report.
Gene, I think you have a question.
Would you anticipate with the increasing price for a barrel of oil that it will impact our projections for the amount of support we get from oil and gas?
Mr. Chairman, Trustee O'Hara, it will not affect this fiscal year, but I'll be talking about that in detail next month when I look into fiscal year 23 and fiscal year 24 again, because of the delay in assessed valuation within oil and gas. So yes, we'll have a story to tell at the April meeting about projections for fiscal year 23 and 24 because of the price of oil and gas.
Thank you.
And it's a good story.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Okay. My last item is just a quick monthly update on our naming and recognition project that continues on. Jerry has already gone over a couple of items, the two naming and recognition events that are occurring here the next month. We will be installing the naming and recognition signage in March. So it kind of goes along with the receptions that we're having. I don't have any new gifts to report this month, and we are still at the 2.4 million in our campaign right now. We have sold 134 seats. We keep an accumulated tour or a count of how many tours we've done. 18 tours and 162 people have toured with the foundation staff. And currently right now, Kelly and her team are working with 3 active donor conversations and 1 pending. So stay tuned for that. As we get closer to being able to announce those, we'll continue to do that. But activity continues, interest continues, and stay tuned. So that concludes my report. If there's any other questions regarding the foundation naming recognition project.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next, we have Aaron Prestwich, Assistant Vice President of Student Engagement, Inclusion, and Success, to give some highlights of the SACE division.
Good afternoon, members of the board. I'm Dr. Bornstein. I'm glad to be here today. There's 3 departments really that I wanted to highlight today and provide some information on. And the first one is our SAIL department. And I realized as I was going back through and reading through some of the highlights that I was going to share for SAIL, that I think I need to provide acronyms glossary, particularly for Trustee Schock. So SAIL is Student Activities, Inclusion and Leadership. And so that's a department that we have that works a lot with students, that does a lot of student programming, that works with our student government and student campus activities programming board. So that leads me to my next 2 acronyms, which is SGA, Student Government Association, and CAP, which is again, Campus Activities Board, or sorry, Campus Activities Programming Board. Also NASPA. So NASPA is for National Association of Student Personnel Administration. So NASPA is it's a professional development organization. It's really the largest and most well-known student affairs professional development organization in the country. And they're very involved, offer lots of training, lots of conferences. And that concludes my glossary report. Any questions? So several SGA and CAP student leaders attended the Colorado Alcohol and Drug Educators Conference, where they earned their certified peer educator certificate. The other thing that we have coming up that's pretty exciting at the end of March is NASPA is holding their national conference in Baltimore this year. And we actually have 12 Student Government Association members that are going to be attending the conference. And so this is really exciting. It's great. Some of these opportunities, especially for in-person attendance, of course, haven't been, there haven't been as many opportunities for that as of late. And so it's awesome that we have a pretty good group of students that we're going to be sending to the NASPA conference. So students will go, they'll get sessions, or they'll attend sessions on things like civic engagement, student campus involvement, diversity and inclusion, mental health and awareness, substance abuse prevention. And so it's exciting. The students are very excited. I'm attending NASPA as well. And so I learned coincidentally, I'm like, hey, we have about a dozen students that are going to be attending NASPA as well. So I'm going to meet up with them and go out to dinner. So I'm excited about that. Another thing that I wanted to mention, so Andrew, our SGA president, did not mention this, but I wanted to highlight it real quick. So SGA just created this, it's called Student Gov Live, and it's a weekly video that they're presenting and that they're offering to students. And I just saw the first one. The first one just came out about a week or 2 ago. Student Gov Live, they're producing these on a weekly basis.
And when I saw it for the first time and watched it, I was so impressed. This was completely student produced. It was student planned. It was student recorded. It was student sliced. They narrated it. They did the whole thing, and it was very impressive. I've been involved either directly or indirectly with student government at 3 different institutions for nearly 15 years now. And I honestly can say our student government leaders that I've experienced here at Ames are so impressive. They're so engaged. They are so bright and so involved on campus, and they're so committed and devoted to truly doing good things on campus. And it's so refreshing to see. It's so refreshing to see. And so just wanted to kind of reiterate that. And I know that we hear from our SGA president every month, and we all know that they're doing some amazing work. But I just wanted to reiterate that as well. The next update is from registration and records. I wanted to highlight them. They do a lot of back-end processing, and their work doesn't always, it's kind of behind the scenes. So sometimes we don't always recognize it and see it, but they are definitely busy at work. And they are the ones who truly, they perform the culminating work of our institution, which is to review and award degrees and certificates to students. And so we've had, in the fall term, we had 432 students receive a degree or certificate. 169 of those were some type of degree, and then 430 of those were certificates. And obviously some students receive multiple certificates. And so that's how the numbers play out on that. But it's awesome to see that in the fall, we had 432 students receive, again, either a degree and or a certificate. The registration and records team also enrolled 1,806 concurrent enrollment students in 683 courses across 55 high school partner institutions. This is for the spring of 2022 term. The work has begun to renumber all Ames courses from 3-digit to 4 different course numbers beginning the fall of 2022 term. This is a statewide effort across higher education. And in the current fiscal year, the testing center has administered a total of 1,436 exams. The last department that I want to highlight and provide some updates on is our Pathways Advising Department. They have truly been hard at work, really trying to support and work with our students. A lot of times we think of advising as the department that helps students do course selection. And that is true, and that is an important part of what they do. But there's so much other student development and student support work that they do with students that's really important. We actually have a new Pathways Advising Director that I wanted to just introduce real briefly. So Mark Harbin. So Mark, if you want to stand up and wave a hand, and if any of the board members have any specific questions about Pathways Advising, maybe Mark will get to come up and share a few thoughts. But we're all really excited to have Mark here. He comes to us from Front Range Community College, where he has several years of experience as an advising director. And he's overseeing an awesome, wonderful group of advisors who are truly committed to working with students and doing everything that they can to help them not just select what courses they need, but to help them navigate and sometimes figure out life and figure out if they need to change a major or not, if they're in the right major. And there's a whole myriad of issues that they help students kind of work through and support them in. A couple of things that I wanted to note specifically for Pathways Advising is, one, the last kind of highlight you'll see there is that we've had 16 Pathways advisors who have completed the CDHE lead training. And the lead training is actually it's a Colorado Department of Higher Education training that they have created and sponsored. And it provides professional development on a range of advising topics. And we've had 16 advisors that have completed it. And it's actually, we're actually one of the top institutions in the state regarding kind of the percentage of our advisors who have completed this training. It's not a required training.
but it is offered, and we've had a large percentage of our advisors go and complete that, and that shows, I think, their dedication to professional development. The other thing that I wanted to highlight here was that we have just wrapped up peak registration, which is really our busiest time of the registration period. Those couple of weeks before classes, the week of, and the first week of classes is when we're very busy. We try to be as proactive as we possibly can to get students in and register for classes and do their short-term and long-term planning. And we always have students who, you know, they're changing their mind at the last minute, or they're deciding, hey, I want to attend Ames, and classes start in a week, and so they show up, and they're very accommodating to work with these students. Outside of peak, the Pathways Advising Team actually has a proactive communication plan that they work with students. And we've really tried to become much more proactive in how we're reaching out to students. And as opposed to just them waiting to come to us, we have a proactive communication plan where we're outreaching to them saying, hey, as a reminder, come in and let's help you get registered for classes. Or at the beginning of the semester, they do a welcome email to reach out to students and say, hey, we're here to support you. Come on in. The individual advisors also do individual outreach support efforts to students that are assigned to their caseload. And so just wanted to kind of highlight that and mention that this is a continual process that we do year round, that the advising team does to, again, really try to be more proactive in the work that we're doing with students. And that concludes my report. Any questions? Trustee Howe.
Thank you, Chair. How is your guidance and advisement programs? They obviously integrate back into the high schools often, don't they? Do they do training for onboarding new students from the high schools, or is that part of the pathway?
Is your question about working with concurrent enrollment students, or
yeah,
like new high
concurrent enrollment
new
and
high
also
school
new students coming on board too as well?
Yeah.
So there's two veins, I guess.
Yeah. So let me talk about that a little bit. So we have the navigation station, and what they do is they work with new and continuing students, but oftentimes with new students who are brand new in terms of just a lot of the general processes and policies, guidelines, timelines of becoming a new student, essentially kind of some of the new enrollment processes, new student enrollment processes. So the navigation station navigators, they're working with new students on those pieces. And then when it comes to course selection, short-term and long-term degree planning, identifying academic barriers that they might have or resources that they might need, that's what students work with their assigned pathways advisor on.
Do they work with the recruiters too? Because we have a group of recruiters that are bringing.
Yep.
That's probably this time of year is kind of a busy time of the year for everybody.
Yep, they do. So it's a process where the recruiters are out there in the high schools or at different events. They're recruiting students to get them in. Then the navigators are helping them with the processes of becoming a new student. And then the pathways advisors are doing a lot of that kind of student development, kind of more of that long-term kind of planning and support.
Is that after they reach the college year?
Yes.
Pathways
Yes.
people?
Okay.
Yep.
And I think I understand your question now. If there's high school students that have questions about what degree programs do we offer, how many credits are those degree programs, how long might it take them? Those are certainly things that the recruiters are equipped with to answer those things.
And they're working directly with the guidance counselors at the high schools.
Yep, for sure.
Heidi, I believe you had a question.
Yes, good report. I have two questions, easy. Where does the pathway advising really actually occur? Is it at the Welcome Center? Is it at the Student Commons?
Yeah, it's at the Welcome Center.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Makes sense.
Pathways Advising is at the Welcome Center up on the second floor.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then the second thing is on the registration and records, you had 1,806 concurrent enrollment students. Do you remember what it was in 2021? It's just be nice to see the difference and see if it's gone up or down or.
Yeah, so not off the top of my head, but in last month's report, it has those concurrent enrollment numbers in terms of this year compared to previous years. So I can get that sent back out to you. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, well, thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Aaron. I was actually just trying to locate it in our enrollment report for trustee Wendell's question. Okay, so next is the president's meetings of note. You'll see in there some pictures of Chair Oxiger and Artie dropping the puck at the Ames night, as well as trustee Shock and myself. The only edit I would make is, where is it? I did have the Colorado Department of Higher Education trustee convening on my calendar, and I did not attend. So that's the only thing that is in there that I didn't actually get to. But if there's any questions on meetings from February, I'd be happy to address them.
Anyone?
Just looking to see if there's anything to highlight here. It's out of the anything? No? Okay. Then moving on to the employee report, the next page in your packet, you'll see new positions there. And is there any supervisor in the audience that wants to introduce a new employee? Aaron kind of just did that with Mark. Anyone else? I don't see. Okay. If there aren't any questions, that concludes the president's report for March. Thank you, Chair.
Well, thank you, Dr. B. Appreciate it very much. And thank you to everyone who presented. It's great information. Sure.
Sorry, I forgot one thing. It's right here in front of me. Chair Oxiger was able to join us for Conversation Day. It was great in the Welcome Center in the ballroom. It's one thing to tour it and see it sort of empty with carpet. It's another thing with tables and people and a stage and a podium. It was incredible. So I'm just going to pass this around. These were the breakout sessions for the afternoon. So you can see kind of the topic. The theme was innovation and play and how to incorporate that in our work in an effective, productive way. And there was a keynote speaker that also gave a breakout. So it was a good day, just in case you're interested. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. I was going to bring that up in comments, but since you brought it up, I'll just make my comments about it right now. I was able to join everyone in Conversation Day. What a great event. What a lot of fun. It was so good to see everybody in a different environment. I most of the time when we see you, it's either in meetings or at work when you're all being super professional, as you almost always are, except at Conversation Day. And so to see everybody interacting with one another like you did and getting along, and some of you meeting other employees, maybe for the first time, and sitting down and visiting and getting to know one another and laughing and joking was really, really a great time. And the keynote speaker was great, promoting having fun. And it just helps us be more productive in both our professional and personal lives. And we can have fun while we are at work. And I think it's a great approach to things and a great philosophy. So it was very, very well attended. And I just have the very, very good impression that everybody there was there for the right reasons and they were all in for Ames. So thank you for having me. I enjoyed it. I appreciate it very much. So having said that, moving on is comments from board members. Who would like to go first? Thank you, Heidi.
I'd love to go first because I don't like to be last. As always, it was a very productive and informative meeting. I appreciate everyone's preparation. I had a lot of emotions about the the survey because it's been going on for quite a while. So I didn't know really what to expect. I kind of looked at the slides and I still didn't really know what to expect until they kind of talked about it and brought it to fruition. And it's a good, and I think it's a nice way to say that we are where we're at, and we know where we need to start and where we would like to go. And so I had this relief after it was over. I think it's just a good starting place. And I keep thinking in the back of my head, we've gone through last 2 years of COVID and it's time to kind of start anew. So I'm looking at it as a positive light, and I'm really excited to still be on this board. Ames is still an amazing place. Very excited about the student here. I don't know if I should say this, but he works for my company. And I called Julie a couple of years ago as a business owner, said I need help in my nursery. And they sent me this kid. And he was just ready to go. And I think we've taken him under our wings. Most of those pictures were my children and my husband up there that he showed. So we're excited about what he'll do. And I think he's a good indication of what Ames can do for a person, not just a student, but for a person. So I'm really excited, and I'm hoping we can help others as we go along, but I'm excited for the rest of this year here. So good meeting. Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, Heidi. Jean.
I would just like to add the comment about how much I appreciated hearing about the partnership between Ames and the business community to help in workforce development. That's such a key role for us. And I think the more we can get that message out to the community, the greater the support's going to be going forward. So good job. Congratulations on working to really develop those partnerships.
Thank you, Jean. Marilyn?
Well, meeting number 2. There's just, as I say, it's academia, and I feel like I'm learning every day. So I appreciate the patience around that. Listening to Ricardo and really about all the facets and the departments and the programs and the community agent connections and all of that. I just continue to be more and more impressed with what Ames brings. And so getting to see at a more close level, intimate level in regards to what really the campus is about. And then this past week, spending time in the Commons yesterday, and then, with the Welcome Center. And I mean, the campuses, and then coming down here, I didn't even know this was out here, candidly. I knew there was campus down here, but I didn't know what's available in Ames and our different communities, and meeting people where they are is just amazing. So I continue to learn and look forward.
Thank you, Marilyn. Mark?
No, we're very, this college has been a hub for our community for 50 some years, 55 years now. I can't remember exactly, but 67, 55. We're 55. Oh boy, isn't that, we're 55. And it's a hub for the community, and it has a lot of spokes, both with people coming in and going out with success stories. I mean, we can share them all. And, listening to the climate survey presentation, that's honest communication for guidance, how we can, if there's a little bit of wobble in that hub, here's how we got to fix it. Here's we can do that. We can set a strategy, a plan. We need those tools. And I'm very happy that we're going to have a deeper dive into it a little bit and understand it fully, what it really presents to the college and to all its members. And we're all members of this. So I'm very fortunate. I'm really happy to hear that Dr. B was able to kind of begin to wave the wand that the other ones carried for these CNA graduates and certificate holders. I mean, we need that type of support, and reaching the top sometimes gets it done quicker. Unfortunately, and fortunately too, I had a similar experience years back working with Marcy on a program that I spent years trying to get concurrent enrollment into high schools, and 3 meetings later it was done. And so the power of the president is very important, and we appreciate what you did there. I do very much so. So other than that, what I hear from behind us, it's not the peanut gallery. This is where the real work, the rubber meets the road back here behind our shoulders. I always think, looking back, with a new facility, I'd like to see us open back up our meetings as we open back up and having more people attend, because we're a big family. And like Lyle was saying about being in that, the breakout sessions at the conversation day, getting to know people, having real conversations. When we onboarded Lyle and I, and 6 years ago, it was a very big community, and there was a lot of people. I remember, and it seems like it's become a little less than that. I would like to see it grow back into that. Maybe that's something we can work on in a work session about and expanding our meeting potential and bringing our family together that way. So other than that, thank you, everyone. I'm very happy with today's progress and communication, and we keep our words in the water and the handles dry. We'll do fine.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Heidi?
I just want to say one more thing about this campus. This is kind of like my campus. I am still, every time I come here, I do a tour. I am so impressed with everything they have, from the welding and the oil and gas and the agriculture and everything else that they have. So Julie has done a very nice job, and I just love this campus. It has so much potential, and the growth out here is amazing. So keep that in the back of your heads. So.
We'll keep your campus in the back of our heads. Thank you for that, Heidi. And just take a little curve here. Dr. B has an answer to Trustee Wendell's question.
Yep, I just had to find it in my emails. So the most recent enrollment report says that we have an 11.75 increase in headcount, and this is just concurrent students, spring over spring. And a 9.9% increase in FTE. So the head count, translates to FTE over last year, spring over spring.
Thank you for that. That's awesome. Well, my comments are I'll be brief. I thoroughly enjoyed the meeting. As always, I love hearing the positive communications from our community leaders and business partners out there. I loved hearing Ricardo and hearing that story. It's just awesome. It's what Ames is all about. It means we're on the right path, and it's certainly our job as trustees to see that Ames stays on the right path, and I think we're definitely there. So, and all of you out there, Dr. B, you're a great team. You're getting us there, and we appreciate it. So thanks for having us. Thanks for having us down here at the Fort Lupton campus, Julie, if you're back there. Great lunch, great hospitality, great tour. Appreciate it. So with that, we'll go to assessment of the board meeting. Anybody have any comments? Did we learn anything? What worked, what didn't work? All those questions that we have. Heidi.
I'll just be quick. I think it went very smoothly. I think we all asked very good questions, all different questions from wide range. And I really appreciate Jane's questions, as well as Marilyn's and Mark's. I mean, they have different questions, and the team answered it. But it went very smoothly. Thank you.
Yep, I would agree. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, well, I certainly think we've got plenty of information. We always get information. That's one of the things I appreciate. It's not always something that we will or should do anything with. other than learn from it. And so I appreciate that. I appreciate the transparency. It helps us understand how we get to where we are. So thank you for that. I think the board is doing a good job of sharing ideas and speaking with one voice. I appreciate us working hard on that and getting there. So with that, if there's nothing else, meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.